Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from Silicon Slopes of Salt Lake City, Utah. My name is Jon Kovach Jr. I'll be your host today. Today's an awesome day because, one, it's Friday. Friday is like the entrepreneur's Monday. I absolutely love Fridays because I feel like my week is just getting started. Looks like from the camera, I'm just now seeing this, that I've got a little blur action going on my camera. But for those of you listening on the audio, you won't have to see that. So congratulations. Again, it's a beautiful Friday morning. I'm super excited to, again, interview an amazing human being, an astounding professional, and somebody who I barely even know, but I feel like I've met worlds before, as well as have seen how much impact she has had on this world. And before I introduce our special guest, let me just give a few more announcements. In the Champion Circle Network Association, I just wanted to say we've had an amazing month in January, diving deep into the knowledge and in Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, as we've done our desire statements, as we've explored just so much more that is capable for us to achieve within our wingspan. And I've loved this experience as we transition to another study of books and information. We focus more on creating the relationships that are going to lead to absolute prosperity, and then transfer those into the relationships that create the partnerships and everything else that we do that creates a successful business. I look forward to the months coming up. And also, if you're interested and need more information about Champion Circle, you can go to our website at mychampionscircle.com. I'll cue that up in the chat section, as well as the ticker below in just a little bit. With all that being said, too, one more quick announcement. The Habitude Warrior 13 Steps to Riches book series was launched in May of 2021 as of last January 15th. So just like a week ago, we launched volume 4 of the 13 Steps to Riches, also based on the principles of Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. This one's on the chapter of specialized knowledge. This one we had the opportunity to co-author with the amazing Steve Sims, the author of Blue Fishing. And get this, you guys, get this. The foreword was written by none other than, I don't even know if you can see this, but the foreword was written by Michael E. Gerber. Michael E. Gerber. If you're not familiar with that entrepreneur world, get educated, because man, oh man, you need to go read The E-Myth. The E-Myth by Michael E. Gerber changed my life. Because a guy with ADHD, you need to know your roles and how to delegate in business. All right, enough of that. Let's move on to the main event. And I'm so excited to introduce this individual. And I always say this, every time we come on here, I am so selfish. I am the most selfish person in the world at this moment, because I get to, one, pour into some persons that I hardly know, but I'm looking forward to building relationships with. And number 2 is that I get to learn. First, I am the front row of this opportunity to learn from this individual, and I'll conduct the interview and keep the conversations going. But to all of our members and to all of our guests from Champion Circle, or for those of you just stumbling upon our podcast, welcome. We air every week on Fridays. We go live on Fridays, and then we publish on Mondays. So please, if you enjoy the show, send us a follow, send us a like. You can do whatever you want, or you can just connect with me on social media. That seems to be the quickest way. Without any further ado, I would love to take a moment and introduce our amazing guest speaker today. And I also just can't wait to learn more about what she's got going on in the world, but mostly where she came from. This individual's surpassed so much in her life, and I can't wait to understand more. And she's so young. It's amazing. Colleen Gallagher is an intuitive business and personal development consultant. She has survived childhood cancer. She has traveled to 42 countries. She's created over 20 digital sold programs for herself and countless for her clients. And she's an academic who is currently pursuing her Ph.D. in psychology with a focus on the global leadership and change. That's like all my trigger words. Like, wow, that's so cool. I want to learn more. She's an author of multiple books, which we're going to talk a little bit about today. She also is the creator of her own podcast. It's called the Colleen Gallagher podcast. Her greatest success is seeing her clients fall in love with life before overcoming trauma and life changes and creating just a lifestyle, a career that impacts the world. She does so many different things. She's a speaker, she's a connector, she's an expert in digital marketing, and she's got so much more to offer. And without any further ado, I'm just so excited. I'm going to shut up because I want to hear more from our guest today. Colleen, welcome to the Circle of Knowledge podcast. How are you today?
I am so good, John. And I love that introduction. You are definitely a pro at the introduction and having this. I'm excited to be here and see where the conversation goes.
Thank you. I am thrilled to hear that, and I'm really, really excited for that as well. And thank you. I mean, you obviously have never met me before, but you answered a simple message, and I was requesting you to come on our show and talk more about your book. And it's gotta be overwhelming getting unlimited amounts of requests like that, and to weed through them and pick on Jon. I'm very excited for this and honored to have you on the show. But allow me to just ask you the question and give you the spotlight for a minute. But can you tell us a little bit about yourself? I know that's such a loaded question, but where'd you come from? Where's your background? Why is Colleen today where she's at? Because of who she was.
Totally. I love this. And first of all, yeah, thank you so much. I'm so grateful. And I always love when people reach out and want to highlight the work that I've done or that I've brought into this world. So thank you. It's always a opportunity I take with gratitude. And well, if we take it from a very scientific level, psychology, I believe we all come from the cosmos, right? Energy cannot be created or destroyed. So all of us, right, we are energy and we are condensed matter, and you can put that up in different molecules or whatever you want if you want to go strictly scientific. But through that, you have two people who, through combustion, they create a baby, and from that, here I am. No, I'm just kidding. But so that's how I actually got from a science level. But all of us. But I grew up to two parents who are lawyers, and I grew up in Detroit, Michigan. Super close with them. My parents are incredible people. Very kind of was going to go to school, get a job, retire. That was my life, right? That I didn't even know entrepreneurship. I'd never heard of creativity, providing a lifestyle. Like, it was more like, you're creative and you're broke. You're creative and that's not making you money. So no, that's not the path for you. So I never really, thought of anything else. So anyway, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer at age 14. And this was a huge game changer in my life. Probably not at the moment it happened, but obviously through the journey in my life, it was very significant. And having it so young and understanding life and getting access to people who were dying, to children who passed away, to families who were breaking up because of money. Now, like I said, at 14, you don't understand, like, right, these aren't concepts you're quite understanding, or even what it means to be on medication for the rest of your life and seeing a specialized doctor. Like, you're not understanding the implication of like doctor fees, specialization, healthcare, like going to the pharmacy. These are not things you think about, right? So obviously, as I became older, I started to have epiphanies or remembrances of these, life things, in a way. And that's really, I guess, when my life began to change. But I guess the real moment when I think about it is, so I was in a corporate job. I've been in sales since I was really 14. I started after I had cancer. I was like sales. I was like always selling. I basically was like, I'm always going to be selling and know how to make money. And that happened because there was a mom and a dad in the hospital, and the dad ended up screaming at the mom and playing with the little girl. And I write this I think it's in my first book, I write this. So if you haven't gotten it, make sure to go get it on my website or on Amazon. But I write it in here that the dad ended up screaming at the mom, saying the only reason we can't pay for our daughter's treatment is because you're a stay-at-home mom. And so from that, right, I didn't, like, again, when I heard this right at 14, 15, I didn't, you don't process it, but it stays in your memory, right? Our memories are so powerful. So it was there, but it wasn't like it was active, right? And so back to now, when I graduated college, I was working for a $23 billion company covering $1 million territories, multi-million. And I was really in love with this guy. It was like my first love, right? Like, it was this thing, but I really you always love people when you have that special bond, they live inside of you in a way. And so he was the first person that really, I feel like in a way brought Colleen out of just this masculine, I'm not saying masculine in a bad way, but masculine business focus only. Like he almost gave life to the artist in me in a way. Like we were at this electronic festival. He got me into EDM shows and that type of music and dressing up and self-expression. And he was really big on that. And so anyway, one thing he said to me when we were at one of these festivals is he said, what is it you actually want out of life? Like, you're so incredible. You're so amazing. What is it you want? And I was like, I just want to look back on life and know it was an adventure of a life. And I helped a lot of people along the way. And I will never forget that because it was so pure. Like I can see like where we were in this forest and like it was like so pure. It was so true. And that relationship I stayed in, and then when it ended, I stayed in America for another like 8 months, but then I left and moved across the world to New Zealand. And that's when I really committed. Like I wanted to find out this journey of why. Like this journey of why I was here. Why did other kids die and I didn't die? Why was I having so much success at a young age? But it felt like all of this long list of achievements, but I just wasn't, I didn't care in a way. It was like, yeah, whatever. And now, even when we said before the podcast, like, what do you do? And I have these long lists of things that I can say of everything I've do or I've done. But it's not so much that I'm not proud of it. I am. Like before it was like I had this list and it was like whatever. Now it's like I have this long list and it's like, oh my God, like I've done that, but I'm always doing something new because I'm so proud of it. And it's like I see these creations as assets that like work for me. And I don't know. So that's kind of where I came from in a very long-winded answer in different ways. But I've never shared it quite this way in a podcast. But I guess that's the way it was coming through. And I know it's kind of a story that I broke up in multiple parts. But that's kind of how our life ends up happening. Something happens, then this happens, and then something weaves back in. Like it's this very fluid path of life, I guess, when we want to think it's linear and it's not.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is the masterclass example of how to wrap your life up in just a short amount of time. That was amazing. Congratulations on that. That was brilliant. And there was nuggets in there that I didn't even know about in all my research and follow up with you. That's incredible. If you don't mind, I would love to go back. Yeah. And let's talk about the 14-year-old, or I think it was 14-year-old, who's experiencing thyroid cancer. And I'm sure at that time, technology is not the way it was today. And especially for something so difficult like thyroid cancer. Can you tell me about what it was like to go through that and that challenge? And were there, I mean, as abrasive as you'd like, but was there a lot of surgeries involved, a lot of doctor appointments, poking and prodding? Like, how was that for a 14-year-old girl?
Yeah. So I had 2 surgeries. So we took out the right thyroid, and then I had a lymph node that was wrapped in my jugular vein. So I still have a scar. I call it my second smiley face. So I have 2 smiley faces instead of one. But anyway, I had my second surgery, and that's why it's such a larger incision, because it had to go over to my jugular. And that was supposed to be a 6-hour surgery, but it was 8 hours, because obviously if we did nothing and that lymph node could have grown, it would have popped my jugular. And obviously that was there. So I had a few biopsies where you have to like put the needle in you and take it out. And I was told I'd be on medication for the rest of my life, a pill a day. I was told like I had to go like, I think twice a year. And then it was once a year of this specialized doctor. And then, I don't even remember. And then also, when I wanted to get pregnant, it was going to be challenging for me to get pregnant. So all these things, right? I don't think you don't really comprehend it, honestly. Like in what I write in my book, like this book, what I write in this one is like, I was really more concerned, and it sounds silly, but I was more concerned about being like ugly. Like I was so concerned that people were going to think I was ugly or like all these crazy things. And so, that was my concern in a lot of ways. And so basically I had to navigate that, and I wanted surgery to remove the scar. My mom said, wait until you're 18 and then I'll do it. And I got made fun of a lot in school, like by boys. Like they would say like, oh, did you try and kill yourself? Or one guy said, because I was dating an African American at the time, he said, did your Black boyfriend try to kill you? Like it was just crazy stuff. So it's not so much like the cancer. It was never like the actual thing of like the science of cancer and what's going to happen. Like that wasn't until when I moved to New Zealand when I really started learning about holistic healing and getting out of Western medicine. And that was back in 2017, 2018. That when I was 14, it was more like an accumulation of like people dying, people not having money, seeing arguments. understanding healthcare, like it was more like these memories were accumulating, like when you're a child, but those memories were like banking in a way for me to use them later. I don't know if that's like the best way I could describe it to you. Like, I obviously couldn't comprehend that then, but I definitely started feeling like I was sick a lot more. I didn't want to be in school. I mean, yeah, I definitely something shifted, but I don't think I could go back and say like this is what I was feeling, because I don't think you have that. I don't think I had that awareness at that age of whatever it was.
Wow. That's amazing. And I appreciate the honesty on that, because whether it was, something that you were internally feeling versus, the outward extrospective part. Cause I mean, for a 14-year-old girl, that life is everything. Like this is social life. This is health. This is awareness. This is everything. And I mean, the timeliness couldn't have been worse. And it's how long was your recovery? I mean, how long did it take before you all of a sudden were no longer, sick with what you had, and also were feeling somewhat normal again?
I would honestly say it wasn't until I really started my corporate. Even that, like, I don't know. Honestly, when I left New Zealand, I think, I mean, that's when I got out of Western medicine. I would say I was not well until I got out of Western medicine. Now, I wasn't doing treatments or surgeries throughout that time, but you still had to go, I mean, once a year for a checkup, once a year for, you had to go every 3 months to get your medication filled. If you didn't get your medication filled, you felt tired. Like, there was so much in the looping of it. And yeah, I would say until I moved to New Zealand and really changed my lifestyle, I really started living a life that I loved, it didn't change.
Interesting. I love this, because that's what I want to dig deeper into, because essentially you wear it on your sleeve that this is a lifestyle that everyone can obtain, a lifestyle that people should to obtain, a love for their life and make it known through their health and through their actions and their behaviors and their habits and so forth. There's just so much more to it than just doing the normal 9 to 5. And that's so evident in your story, because you went from overcoming, the surgeries and the health problem of thyroid cancer to kicking ass in the corporate world. And tell us a little bit about that transition. I mean, obviously you probably went to college, you probably got a degree in marketing or sales, but tell me a little bit more about that transition and how you got into the big corporate world and how successful that was for you.
Yeah, so when I was in college, right, and in college, I'd say I still wasn't like super well, right? I would go out and party all the time. I was definitely a partier, and I don't want to part of my life, but I loved it. I loved dancing. I loved going out. I was kind of like you. I loved the music. I mean, I would be the one that's at the DJ booth, like, let me tell her a song request. Let me do a song request. Like, I was literally that annoying one. Like, I was, and I was always on the dance floor. I just loved it, and it wasn't like I would like party and be weird. It was more like I would literally party, but I would like, in a way, it was like my market research. I would go and party, and I would literally have very deep, profound conversations with people that were intoxicated, because it was like they were so raw in their pure form. And it's so funny because, like, looking back, it's literally like I've been doing market research my whole life. So anyway, I wanted to get a marketing degree, or because I wanted to be in branding. But initially I said, let's start my career in sales and then I'll move into branding, which obviously that's kind of what happened. But it's like, I say I didn't do that intentionally, but that is what I said back then.
Yeah.
So, I had my first paid internship when I was 18. After my freshman year at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. I got to work at the Detroit airport, and then I worked with them in Lansing at their home office. And then after that, I worked for a $23 billion company, and I got to go to Arizona with them. And then they hired me full time. So I literally had a full-time job at the beginning of my senior year. And it was like, I don't know, $68,000, I think, in salary. You had like a $12,000 moving fee. You had a company car. You had, you had a health insurance. I mean, it was like, nearly $100,000 plus the bonus you were going to get. Like, it was just insane. So yeah, that was pretty cool for me. And so I really don't know what it's like to not basically have $100,000 earning a year. I just, that's never been a reality for me since I've really been working since I was 21. And so that was that. I moved to Houston with them, and then I got promoted to Baltimore, and then I left and moved across the world to New Zealand, and I found a job with a $400 million company. It was an American company, and I was doing marketing for them in Australia and New Zealand, and I was learning about the Korea, Taiwan, Japan markets to start there, but obviously I left the company. And so that was that career. I mean, that was that, and I learned so much. It was a really great experience, and I think I knew I wanted more. I mean, the whole reason I did all this is I wanted to travel the world. That's all I wanted was to travel. So everything I did was to set me up to travel. And I did that. And then there got to a point when I was like, I don't want to rely on a company. Like I want to travel on my
Yeah.
terms, do this my way. And that's, I hired my first coach, Alison Callahan. And I hired her out in New Zealand, and I wrote my first book, and it's called like The Intoxicator. So intoxicate the world with love. It's the largest peaceful army of love, where those of us who believe in transforming the world with love. And this is like our little army badge. But I didn't know that at the time when I wrote that. Fast forward a year, so that was 2018, 2019, my master's, I wrote a book. And actually, it's funny because when you're in international trade agreements, right, developed nations and developing, we're going a little sidetracked, but we're in these, and someone defaults on the trade agreement, whoever has the largest military will still win, even though there's an international court system, because there's not a court system like just America. Each country has their own system and their own jurisdiction, but there's an international court system. But when you have that, when someone defaults, whoever has the largest military, even if it's the developed nation's fault, the developing nation can't do anything. So it's like, and so it's funny that I wrote this saying the largest peaceful army of love, because I do believe that we are an army and that we can combat military things with love and connection. And so it's funny how everything really in my past was always creating my future. So yeah, that was my corporate. And then I just, I made it happen. I left and I started my company in January of 2018, or I left corporate January 25th. My first book came out February 8th of 2018. I hired a mentor in August for $30,000 for 12 months. And that was my journey and how it started. And now we're here.
That's amazing. And I know that 10 minutes on a podcast isn't going to do it justice. There's so much more to your life, your story, but I'm thankful for what you shared, and I know my audience will resonate with your journey transitioning out of the corporate world and into what you do now. Obviously, diving a little bit deeper into you becoming your own coach, or you working with a coach and becoming this consultant and this intuitive, and there's a bit of a spiritual journey there. And I know that I personally want to know more about that and how that came to evolve into what Colleen is now a big believer in today.
Yeah, I mean, I think business, right, is one of the most spiritual things you can do. I think being in business is that, because when you think about it, a business, right, it's solving people's problems. And even when you think about a business, right, it has offerings. Just like if you're, whatever religion or whatever you're in, but an offering, you are offering something to the world to solve people's problems, like period, whether it's a product, whether it's a service, whether it's a membership. That's the very basic ways of a business, right? 3 ways. And then obviously you add way more to it from a product or service or membership, but that's the basic business starting, right? And so for me, with cancer, there just was this moment where I knew there was more. And like I said, I was in New Zealand and I wanted to know, and I started meditation and yoga. I did 4 hours a day of yoga and meditation for 8 months. And this really is when I started to have these remembrance of, like I said, of this bank of memories that I've been talking about. I had remembrance, and these memories like would literally come up and I would see them and I'm like, oh my God. And then that's how this book came, Live Your Truth. It literally came from this meditation of these things that were said to me. And it was like, they were like oozing out of me. And then I was like, I have to do something with this. Like, it's almost like I couldn't, like once the memory came up, it was like something had to be done. And like, I was talking about it to this person, and I was like, I just need to write it. And I remember I was in my flat in New Zealand and I had my papers everywhere. I was organizing my book after I'd written it, like the chapters and everything. And my flatmates were in there. And I was like, oh my God, no wonder I was such a messed up girl. I said a different word, but anyway, a messed up girl. And I was like, all these things were said to me and I was carrying them in my mind. And I had no idea that I was walking around with this huge baggage of stuff, basically. Yeah. And I was like, no wonder this is happening, that's happening. And then that's what led to my first book. And then through that expression, I created another program. I got into digital marketing, online funneling. And that's how everything really started. But yeah, it became a lot less for me about how to make a business or how to make 6 figures or 7 figures. Like my first year in business, I was really like, I want to be a millionaire. And I did hit 6 figures, and now we're multiple 6 figures. But I did like, I felt like so attached. And now it's such like, it's such more of a journey of alignment, of peace, of connection, like what you said, like relationship building in this podcast. Like it's it's more about like what memories do you want to create. So when you are meditating or you're in your own space or you're connecting with people, what are the memories that are alive inside of you that you want to share? What are the things you want to connect over? Because a lot of us, we don't have memories that we're sharing and connecting with people out of positive. Excuse me,
Bless you.
out of positive thing. Thank you. Out of positive, we're just talking about the negative. Like, how often are you with people and they're like, my partner's like this, or my partner's like this, or this person's like this, my best friend did this. Like, those are not positive memories. Like, you're speaking darkness. You're speaking into a new memory of someone. So now you're like, oh, we had lunch and we just talked about this. But is that really the memory you want? Is that really what you want to carry? And I think the journey I've been on, right, it's become about that, and it's become about surrender. Because like, even when I was in the recording studio yesterday for my third book, this one, so this came out last year, this third book, it was in, hold on, I'm gonna fix this hair. When I was in the recording studio yesterday recording that, I was reading it, and that came out June 8th. I wrote it in 2020, came out June 8th of last year. I'm already in the middle of my fourth book, and I was like, I could already see how this book, my fourth book, was being written through this fourth book, but I had no idea what my fourth book was going to be yet when I wrote this book. But I could, reading it now, I'm like, oh my God, like this was literally already crafting my life for this. And so I think, or what I want to share is, it just becomes more about who do you want to be like in life. And when you do that, that's where magic happens. Like when you're not so afraid to fail, when you're not so afraid to say the crazy thing, when you're not so afraid of whatever, like that's when depth and beauty, and I mean, that's when sustainable relationships happen over a lifetime.
Right. I want to observe something for those of you listening to the audio on this on replay. Something that you did not get to witness is the transformation from our conversations about our childhood and corporate America to this intentional, intuitive belief in spiritualism that comes from disowning the negativity in your world. And Colleen went from this absolute business expert to a phenomenal speaker and intuitive to this conversation. And it was cool to just sit here and listen and witness that, Colleen. I don't know if you know that. You'll go back and watch the replay and see, but there's a physical difference in your excitement, your knowledge, and your energy about the last segment of conversation we just had versus the stuff before. And I can tell it's because it's your life and you're so passionate about it and you're so excited to teach and influence other people about it. And so I just wanted to recognize that. And I get to sit back in the seat here and say, wow, I am learning so much and observing so much. But thank you for pouring into us with that. Transitioning into the meat and potatoes of the Circle of Knowledge podcast is there's so much in here. What's some nuggets of knowledge, some information that you think is absolutely vital to the growth process of humanity that you would like to share with my audience? What's something that you would love to share that, you know, if it's as simple as wake up every day and, you know, drink a glass of water or whatever it is that you would like to share, but what's the knowledge that you'd like to share with my audience today?
So I'm going to share this. So this is so random, but that's not random, but it's in tune. So yesterday I was recording my third book, right? My audio book, right? And there was two phrases. I did 7 chapters history, 2 phrases that I put on my phone in my notes. I have no idea why I did this, and you just asked this. And so this is probably why I wrote these 2 phrases down. I'm so serious. So this is the one. One of them is be selfishly selfless. And I love that you said that on your podcast in the beginning of be selfish. I think we have, especially as women, we have this idea that being selfish is bad. And I think men do too. But if you're not selfish and you're not saying yes to you, you can't be selfless. Like, you know, I've had I'd say probably 2 relationships, right, that were very dear, but they wanted me to be like selfless, and I was codependent. I was doing everything, but like it built so much resentment that the relationship had to end. And so if you aren't selfish, taking care of you, doing what's right for you, it's not going to work. And even what I love, Jesse Itzler and Sarah Blakely, phenomenal entrepreneurs, he even says that he wakes up every day and he has to have 4 hours to himself before he gets in front of his family. Otherwise, he won't be mental. And I'm like, wow, or like in a safe place. I'm like, that's incredible. And that's not that is him being selfish, but so he can give. And you have to just be honest that it's okay. So that was one. The other thing that I think I don't know why I wrote this down, but I find obviously it was for this. This is in my third book, but I say you'll find a newfound love and appreciation for yourself and humanity, instead of searching for love from humanity to fill the gaps where you've lacked giving love to yourself. So I'll read that again, because like you brought up humanity, which is why I thought of this. So it says, okay, you'll find a newfound love and appreciation for yourself and humanity instead of searching for love from humanity to fill in the gaps where you lacked giving love to yourself. And that's like when you live an uncompromised life. That's what an uncompromised life is. And when you self-source it instead of you're constantly looking from humanity. So for an example, I guess, how is this practical? This is a more of an energetic, but a business way, right? So if you're making an offering, like right now, right, I have a $28 offer. It's for all of February. I have a piece of content being released every day. I never offer something at this low of an investment ever. It's like $1 a day, literally, for anyone who knows me. I have no idea why it's being offered. But anyway, it came through me. That's the way it was. I'm like, I should offer it higher. Why would I do that? I'm like, just trust it. Just do it. And the people enrolling are amazing. But what I want to say is if you go to humanity, right, and you're like, I need to get this money from people. I need to get this solution to them, whatever, instead of like, actually, let me just offer this from a space of love. Let me just offer this from a space of whatever that is. Then it naturally is attracted to when, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 shows up. And you're like, oh my God, but it's not because you were out there searching for it. You weren't searching from humanity. It was already self-sourced in you. So it could come inside. And I think that's kind of what you said. And that's probably why I wrote that down. And then that's what I would say.
I'm floored. That's amazing. And I just know that you and I follow a very similar intuition, and it's based on our gut feelings. It's based on our heart. It's based on I call them the promptings, or the intuitiveness of our human nature is what we follow. And one of the reasons why I found Colleen on social media was because I am magnetized to people who are intuitive leaders, action takers, and developers. These are the types of people who use their knowledge and their experience to pour into others and to change the world from, one human being at a time, whether it's a $28 offer, a free download, or a $5,000 mastermind or program, whatever it is. I somehow am magnetized to those people, and I find them, and I'm floored. Like this is like, wow, that's why I did that, and that's exactly why you did that. So that's really interesting. But
yeah, I want to say too, if you guys even rewind the interview when Jon said, do you have anything you want to share for our humanity? And that's what's even crazier is out of this book, which how many pages does this book have? 200 and something pages, 7 chapters that I read yesterday. That was what I wrote down, specifically the word of humanity. Like, so the way the universe works, what I want to share for all of you is that Jon and I already had this pinpoint moving. So my life was already aligning. His life was already doing, and it was already doing, like, there's nothing you have to do. All you have to do is show up and let it come through. Like there's literally nothing else to do but that. And that's, if you go back in the beginning of this interview, I said, like, I had this self-expression with the guy I was dating, with whatever. And the reason you get thyroid cancer, in my belief system, or any lung cancer or anything, is because there's emotional suppression, right? Mine was, I wasn't speaking my truth. I wasn't speaking what needed to come through because I was made fun of. That's a whole different narrative. But what I would just want to say here is that everything that you're doing is aligning you and others for this reality that is in the greater solar system. It's something we can't understand because we are operating in that system. We are Earth in a greater, not just business system or structure, like also in a cosmic structure. So it's like trusting it. And so I think that I told you that surrender, when I fully surrendered, that's just how it comes.
Man, straight chills. The hairs on my arms and my neck are like sticking right out. It's so cool. And there's no other way best to describe it than the way you just did. And thank you for teaching us that and taking the moment to pause and say, did you guys notice this? This is just alignment at its core. And I really appreciate that. And I know that a lot of my audience members are definitely going to feel that as well, whether they're listening to the audio or watching this later. I'm so grateful for that. I want to pour into you a little bit more, and that's just my nature as well. Let's talk about your books, because I am so excited to get a copy. And guys, by the way, this is how you support an author. You can order anything on Amazon, and yeah, sure, it goes towards best-selling status, and yeah, whatever, like it's quick delivery, and yeah, whatever, like it might be there in a few days. But seriously, you should go to Colleen's website and buy her book there, because she'll send you, I think I'm right when I say this, an autographed copy. And that's how you support authors. That's where you get
an autograph. You get your own unique, like, channeled poem or note. Like, everyone's is different. So like Jon, like when I write it, it like literally is like a poem or a channeled note specific to him. Wow. When anyone buys it, it's not like it's just that. Like, I literally tune into your energy and I write something, and no one is ever the same. So yeah, it's definitely like the best option if you can do it, because it's you can't get that anywhere else. But yeah, so anyway, go on. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was like, it's not just science.
I absolutely love that. That's that really what I was trying to get to, and I wanted to pull up your website here and just kind of give everyone a little view. So you should be seeing my my desktop or my internet here. Here's Colleen's awesome website, and if you guys just scroll down, you'll find a lot of just amazing content, opportunities to connect with her. But check this out. This is so cool. So if you can click on one of her books, I think I got this one, the Live Your Truth book.
Which just came out June 4th, or January 4th published.
January 4th published. This is the one. This is I need to go pick up this one too, because this is a lot of what you were talking about at the beginning of our show. And I love this. And I just recognized that you've got a salt rock here. I love that.
Yes.
And just scrolling through a little bit more. Actually, I should go back to StreamYard and just make sure. Is my screen being shared? Yes, it is. Okay, cool. I just didn't see it from my perspective. Let me quickly just scroll down here to the bottom, you guys. This is colleengallagher.co. Let me grab that. And you guys can meet her. You can get to know her. You can follow her on social media, connect with her. She's got an amazing podcast herself. She's got an awesome blog, which is what you just described. A lot of this comes out in the form of, art and poetry and the way you're feeling. That's just absolutely incredible. So I invite everyone from our show to go to her website. I'll put that in the chat section, but I'm so excited. Tell me a little bit about the launch of this recent book and how and what it's about, what we should expect, and how we should go and get it.
Yeah, so this book, it was my first book that came out in February of 2018, but it was self-published. And so now we're moved to published. So this is through Morgan James. So all my books are published. I have a course on why I've done that. But anyway, like if you want to write a published, monetize a book, I go through both self-publishing, published. But this came out January 4th. So this whole month we have had it. And if you get it this month, we have a free virtual book talk that's included on February 2nd. So John, I know I included you, I believe, on the email. Hopefully you can see you there. But this book is a 5-step process. And basically I take you through how to live your truth, like how it's obtainable for anyone. And I love what John said, because when you do see me in the beginning of this interview, a lot of people come to me for business because I am an expert in business and marketing and sales and all these things. But it's why I'm so successful in business is because I do it from a center of beingness, from a center of creation. And then from the creation, we run it through the masculine systems and structures that are already in place in this beautiful planet. So this book is really, how do you find that truth? How do you find that place that when you share, like you said, you see the passion, you feel the passion, and people naturally are going to come to you. Like if I wasn't doing this right now, I would still be talking about this. I'd be writing. Well, I have something for my dissertation, but I'm still writing when I'm doing this. Like when I'm in Uber, I'm still doing this. Like if I'm not on Facebook or posting or doing whatever, I'm still having these conversations. It's not like I'm off in my own land, not talking about what I share with you guys. It's the same thing. Like if you look at my friend's phone, it's like, this is this co-star. Look at my horoscope today. Here's this affirmation. Like this is like these are my conversations, or like so I think that this book is a guide for you to begin your journey to freedom and healing. It's how I started my business. It's how you can start your journey to freedom and healing. And it gives you just the process that works like clockwork. And then I have a course that goes with it that's called How to Create Your Fairy Tale Life. You can do a self-study or you can do it with me. I run it twice live, 2 times a year live. But other than that, I just do it at the self-study, or you can do that. But I think that this one, it's your portal to new beginnings. It's your portal to your life starting. It's the portal to fairy tales. It's the portal to magic. It's the portal out of linear into the beauty. That's what I'd say this book is. And I don't want to give away the 5 steps because it is, but obviously this is the little badge. Like I said, Intoxicate the World with Love. It's a sticker. You can also get it and you can put it on your laptop or your mug, but it's like basically so that way when you have it, you can be a leader in the conversation. When someone's like, what's that sticker? Intoxicate the World with Love. You can like, well, I'm part of this love movement and I really believe in whatever. And you can be the educator on consciousness, on energy, on beauty, on rebirth, whatever that it is that you're doing. And so that's why that's there, is to have it be it as you become the leader in the conversation.
I want to take a pause here. I'm just excited with energy. Energy is flowing through me, and no, it's not the ADHD or the coffee I had this morning. It is literally excitement and pure joy. And I want everyone from the listening point of view to recognize the pace of conversation since we jumped into our passions. And we are just like chipmunks going, we are on fire right now. And I love this because it really is speaking our truth. And I really appreciate you bringing that into the light, because that ultimately is what I want a lot of our listeners, for anyone who comes into influence or even stumbles upon the show, to learn from you, Colleen, because you're an absolute expert in this, and I can't wait to see more and learn more from you. And yes, thank you for those invitations too. That was amazing. Leaning towards the end part of our podcast here, I know that we could talk about this all day, but I know that we both have stuff to get to. Is as a result of the information that you've shared, sharing your truth and your knowledge today, what's something you would like to invite my audience to take action on, like immediate action? Like, what can they do today? What can they start doing today to start turning the wheels and changing their life in a more positive way? But what action would you like to encourage them to do?
So get out a calendar, look at your calendar, and literally pick a month, whatever month that it is in this year, preferably on that day or on that month, like put it in front. You can use your finger. You can, if it's a physical calendar, close your eyes and literally point whatever day that you hit on, like whatever day you put a big circle on that day, like a huge circle, and you say, this is the day that I'm starting to live my truth. And from that moment, everything you do from now to then is to plan. So how much money do I need to save? What coach do I need to hire? What mastermind do I need to get into? What books do I need to read? But this is the day when there's drawing a line in the sand. I am done with this life and I'm going all yes in this life. And you just got to do it.
Oh, I love that. It reminds me, I like the way you said it better. And don't tell my friend I said this. Oh, wait, we're live. But we have a good friend who we interviewed on the Global Speakers Mastermind and Masterclass session with Eric Swanson in the Habitude Warrior Company. Anyways, Glenn Lundy, if you know Glenn, he's the founder of the Champions Breakfast, Champions Club, or Morning. I can't remember. He's awesome. And he says, today is my January 1st. And he commits to every day being his January 1st, which is cool because it's like the New Year's feeling and spirituality. Yeah. But I want to point it back to you because, wait, that way. Okay. Reversed camera here. Pointing it back to you because that in and of itself is a really empowering way to say it. It's that circling that day, that this is the day. And can I ask you, when people are doing this, is it normal to see lots of circles on your entire calendar having multiple days of starting, or is it better to have one day, the day?
Yeah. So this is like, if you're at the place, if you're like, this is what I'm doing. So if you're writing a book, right? This is the day, no matter what, this has got to be done, or this is the day, or whatever. Like when I moved across the world to New Zealand, it was March, I think 11th or something, or whatever. It was right before Ultra Miami. This was the day. This was, no matter what, like a 2 weeks notice was going in here. Like that was what I circled. Okay, 2 weeks notice goes in here. My flight's being bought here. Like I had it literally backed up by 3 months of like from reverse engineering, but I did it. I don't know why I chose March. I don't know why I chose that day. Now I don't have to do that so much. Like it's easier, but when you're first starting, that's like the band-aid. But trust me, in those first 90 days of leaving my corporate job and moving to New Zealand, oh my God, I had anxiety. I had full-on panic attacks every day. I mean, I thought you would have thought someone was dragging me into a jail. I mean, even though it was like I was living, but it was so scary because I didn't know it. And I remember being on the plane, I had a whole bottle of wine. I remember it was a Chardonnay, and I'm like, like on leaving for my dream, like on the plane. But like, this is like what I was feeling, because it was like, I was so nervous. I was ruining my life, and I didn't know I was just beginning.
Wow.
So that's what the thing is. And I think January 4th, that could be too, but if you live in different,
exactly,
like Eastern, Western medicine, like, different, like Chinese New Year is just about to come up. So like, depends, like, I don't know, like it's a good thing, but I think it's easier if you're doing it from that intuitive base, because sometimes like people might not resonate, but maybe you do resonate. It's all it's what's right for you. But I think that thing of, if it's a divorce, if it's I'm falling in love, like if it's whatever, like there's got to be a day that it's like, and it can't be like, okay, I'm claiming $1 million by this day. You can do that, right? But it needs to be something like, this is something I am in control over. Like you can't control unless you go rob a bank or something, like to make $1 million, like unless you build your business or do things. But it has to be something that's like, you take the action no matter what. Like divorce is being verbalized, like you're checking yourself into AA, you're you're applying to the masters, you're studying in your 2 weeks, you're getting the book done, like whatever it is, it has to be one of those things.
I love that. And that day becomes a memorable, defining moment because you chose on that day to be transition point, the commitment of your outcomes. I absolutely love that. There's so much congruence with this beautiful book, the Think and Grow Rich, and so forth with that. But thank you for saying it the way you said it, and I agree. It's better than the way I said it before. And also just I can't thank you enough, Colleen. This has been not only an intuitive hour, but this has been just a really educational experience for me, and for the audience members too. I ask the questions so you don't have to, and whether they sound silly or not, they're truly they're real questions. They come from just a learner's perspective. So, but I wanted to ask you this: how would you prefer my audience and anyone listening to this or stumbling upon this to connect with you and to get in contact with you?
Yeah, I think the best way is through any of my social media. So the Colleen Gallagher on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn. And then obviously I think joining my email list is always great too. So just go to my website and you can do that. But whatever works, I'm available in all different places. So it's not too hard to find me if you want to do it. But I love connecting. So if you want to say something or share something, don't be nervous. I know people are like, she's too busy or she has so much going on. Like, I literally live for connection. So it means the world to me. So yeah, reach out whatever way is in alignment for you.
Amazing. And I just blanked. I can't remember. Did you have something you wanted to give to the listeners or anything you want to lead them towards? I know you mentioned the $28 program. I'm totally cool with that. If you want to,
I have a free, I can do another one. Sorry. I didn't know I was going to mention that, but I have a free, what's it called? The 8 golden rules to become a heart-centered business leader. So I just put it in the private chat if you want to copy it in the other one. So you guys can do that. And I also have a free meditation that's on my website.
Absolutely amazing. Let me add this to the comment section for all of you. Go check it out. Boom. Simple as that. I'll put it up here on the screen. This is the golden rules. Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you for doing that. Again, it's never a requirement. You said it yourself. I wasn't expecting I was going to do this, but you did it. So I'm amazed and I'm excited. But Colleen, any last words? I hate saying that because it's never the last. In fact, I'd like to invite you back to the podcast for a part 2 sometime, because I just know that what we covered was the exciting surface level of what depth we could create out of these conversations and teach so many people, which I already know you do on your podcast. So I want to make sure I steer people your way as well. You guys go check out Colleen Gallagher, the Colleen Gallagher podcast. It's great. I listened to a few episodes the other day. I've had some friends who stumbled upon her podcast too and have been on there, and it's absolutely amazing. So make sure you guys go check her out. Best place to find it, obviously, wherever you listen.
I mean, we're on like 18 different platforms. If you just Google it, it'll be there, or go to Apple, Spotify.
Good. Awesome. But yeah, I want to turn the time over to you, spotlight you. Any last parting words before we say adieu and to the next time? I
don't know. I think just live, like start living, start today's, make the commitment, do the thing, just start. Like, be you. I think that's the best way to do it. Like, just trust it and be you. And that's what I'd say. I think that wraps up everything, because it's hard just to spin one, but create a life you love. I believe in, and I've healed my body. I've healed my life. I've created a multiple 6-figure business. I've helped my clients. I've done retreats. I mean, there's so much that I have done just by these principles and just by following love.
Thank you. I needed that kick in the pants. Just start today, you guys. That was brilliantly said, and thank you so much. Way to stick the landing, Colleen. That was amazing. Thank you so much for joining me on the Circle of Knowledge podcast, where we talk about knowledge and how to apply it. And thank you for just being you. And I can't wait to continue to perpetuate and improve and connect with you and what you've got going on, and also your awesomeness. If I can spread that through the world, then allow me to be an advocate. And just thank you for joining me on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, John. I'm super grateful, and hopefully get to see you in Orlando at PodFest.
Yeah. Or sooner. We have a book signing coming up in San Diego sometime soon. So we'll talk about that. But ladies and gentlemen, another hour of the Circle of Knowledge podcast. I am your host, Jon Kovach Jr., signing out. Thank you. Have a great week and good luck. And you've got this.